So the Indiana Fever have signed Bree Hall to a dev contract. Is it relevant? Not really. Like, Bree Hall as a dev player she might play a game this year. She probably won't. It is kind of irrelevant. There are definitely things that are bigger concerns than this for the Indiana Fever. There is a but here. When you're looking at the Indiana Fever, you have to question the process of everything. You have to question their decisions as a process as well as the outcome. Because some decisions are smart process-wise, the outcome is bad. For example, the one at Bonner last year. Process makes sense. Outcome, pretty bad. Sig Colson, process made sense. Outcome, not ideal. So this one didn't really make sense for it's never really going to make sense from an outcomes perspective because she's not going to play. However, a lot of people try to make the argument that, from a process standpoint, that it was a pretty good signing because, Bree Hall is she is a player that could be a very, very could be a good defensive wing, and let's be real, no. No, she's not a WNBA player at this point in her career. Maybe a few years down the line, cool. In a couple of years, maybe Bree Hall, we can look at her as a potential WNBA player, but it's that's not now. And what she did in the off season, I watched her play a little bit in AU, and she was okay. She was fine. In New Zealand, she was worse than Christy Wallace. And the reality is that there is an obsession with this team towards South Carolina players, to the extent that the biggest problem with the Bree Hall signing now is that she's injured. She's literally injured. And Fever GM member Cox and signing Bree Hall, we think a lot. We loved her progress. She had a really great plan going into the offseason just in terms of what she wanted to get better. Ree took our feedback to heart. I'm going to be honest, I didn't think she was great in the offseason. I don't think she was horrifically awful or anything. It's not like Jaylen Brown 2 years ago or even KK. She wasn't KK bad in the offseason. But Cox and the Hall's been dealing with plantar fasciitis. It was a bit of a timing thing to get her back here a little bit later in training camp. We're just excited about her potential. A long wing that can really get out and defend. In her very limited WNBA minutes last year, she didn't redo anything. If she was long and could actually play defense, the Golden State Valkyries would not have cut her. It is as simple as that. But what I am concerned about here, mostly concerned about here is this is not plantar fasciitis is not an injury that you sit out, you're just healed from. Let's say chronic foot injury. That can ruin careers. I'm not saying it will. But that being said, they just signed somebody as a practice player who can't practice. It doesn't make any sense not even doesn't make sense. It's just everything about it with the Fever. It's it's just have this obsession with South Carolina now. I'm sorry. They signed more than 50% of the South Carolina guards in the league. South Carolina guards in the WNBA. Raven Johnson, Bree Hall, Ty Harris, Zaya Cook. Am I right in saying? And Tina Peppa. They have signed 60% of the guards from a notoriously bad school for developing guards. It just doesn't make sense. And the worst part about this is she's fucking injured. If she was healthy and didn't have a freaking chronic injury, we could say, okay, yeah, this will be grand. It's not the end of the world. But that's not the case. That is straight up not the case. This is a chronic injury that it might be affecting her throughout the season. And ironically, when it comes down to it, a lot of the time when players who are suffer from plantar fasciitis, there's a lot of players that is like, okay, they have to limit their practice reps, and they might be able to they might be good to go in one game and not another game, and they have to be very selective about what they're doing and the exercise they're doing. However, when it comes down to the Fever, the Dev contract is a training contract. Like, the Fever are not going to call up a Dev player. She is essentially a practice player who can't practice. Like, that is effectively what it is. She is a practice player who essentially is not able to may not be able to practice. She's been dealing with plantar fasciitis. She said past tense, Hall was, but has been treated. She's healthy, clear, and play if needed. Like, one, we haven't seen her at all. And two, this isn't like, you don't just get healed from plantar fasciitis. Like, it is a chronic injury. Like, you can get ruled out and you can get the clear to play, but it's a chronic injury. Like, and if you're okay, you can always come back. They signed an injured player, do some scouting outside of South Carolina. A blade of plantar fasciitis, Amber Cox has to go. Like, that's not a good thing. Don't even say it out loud. And not only that, they've literally signed 2 injured guards from South Carolina. And Ty Harris did not look very good. She didn't look terrible. She did not look very good against LA. She looked hurt. If you saw what Ty Harris looked like in the past, when Ty Harris was playing for Connecticut, even the start of last season, Dallas, this is not the same player. It is not the same player with Ty Harris. She's clearly hurt. They have signed multiple injured guards from South Carolina. It's just like, it's frustrating to see, because that dev spot, not even a dev spot, but like, it realistically should have been used. Roster spots should be used for players that can actually bring something to the team. And like, I don't even know how much she's going to be able to practice with the team. Like, you have genuinely got a situation where like, they've signed a pointless player who's hurt. They've signed a completely pointless player who is just hurt. I'm just like, what the hell is this offseason is this front office doing? Genuinely, what's the goals? What is the goals? To put together the 14th best team surrounding a big three? Like, the New York Liberty were winning games. Like, literally won a game when Jonquel Jones fell down in like 10 minutes with no Sabrina, no Satu, no Leo Phoebus, no Raquel Carrera. Like, none of those players. And no Beck Allen. If the Indiana Fever is an equivalent, is losing Lexi, Sophie, Caitlin, and Leah, the Indiana Fever would get beaten by the Connecticut Sun by 30 if it was Kelsey, Mitchell, and friends. Like, it's not. I don't know what they're doing, because there's no logic to what they're doing. There's no process based. There's no logic at all. It makes no sense.